Am I allowed to smoke?
All right, we're recording now. All right, welcome back to another edition of Gen Sports Corner. Back at you for 8/21/2021. Big fight tonight. I'm your host, Jen, with my special guest. Introduce yourself, sir.
Man, y'all already know what it is, man.
Yeah.
If anybody watched this, y'all know who I am, man.
Yeah.
Dave, you know what I mean? Xavier.
There you go. You know what we're here to talk about, man.
You know what we're here to talk about.
You already know, man. Big fight tonight. A lot of changes. First, it was Manny versus the Boogeyman. Now it's Manny versus Mr. Yordenis Ugas. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, well, first, let me just start with, I definitely want Earl to have a speedy recovery. I mean, but that being said, we got to keep it a buck. He has a detached retina. Now, of course, that can happen. It's one of those injuries, I can look over a certain way and it can just happen. You know what I mean? It could be a freak accident. But given who Earl is, he got that in sparring.
Yeah.
Touched. So.
Now, that's the big thing, because there was a lot of talk coming out of Earl's camp that he was getting touched up a little bit. And that was of concern even before we knew about this injury. People were concerned that if you're getting touched up by some of these sparring partners, are you really ready? So do you think that Earl Spence, one, was ready, and two, moving forward, do you think that this is an injury that he'll be able to come back from? Or do you think this is something that will be a perpetual problem that he may be thinking about retirement?
I mean, when you're at that level, when, he was ready. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he was. So I don't want to say he wasn't ready for Manny. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that would have been a tough fight for Manny. I still think he would have won, and I think he probably would have won more handedly than people expected. But I think he was ready. I think he was ready. I don't think it was a matter he wasn't ready, but I just think that he's not accustomed to that's the best way to fight Earl. Combination punching, angles, keep him turning, and you got to push him back. You know what I'm saying? So I think he was just having a hard time in sparring with that and adjusting to that. Do I think he can bounce back in the future? That depends on Earl. You know what I'm saying? It depends on Earl. If Earl can come back and adopt a whole different style of fighting, like I was telling you earlier, a more defensive, not get hit kind of style, which that's not how Derek James trains his fighters. Did you watch the fight earlier with the boy? What's his name? Something Martin. I think it's like Frank Martin or something like that.
I didn't see the preliminaries.
Look at that fight. He fight, no lie, just like Earl. Literally just like Earl. The only difference is his hands are a little bit faster and his feet aren't as heavy. He's a decorated amateur, so it's a little bit different, but he fights in the same manner. Walk you down behind the jab, go to the body, and, beat you up.
And this is one of the issues we were talking about, I think even 2-3 years back, for Earl Spence. Great offense, can throw his hands, land sudden power shots, but the defense leaves something to be desired. It's not horrible defense, but it's not the best either. You have a limited shelf life with that type of approach. And we've seen it with lesser scope fighters, such as, one that sticks out to me is Jarrett Hurd. And I told you, we were talking about this, and I've incessantly mentioned this. I'm just like, he is not going to last long fighting like this. Like, he's not. It's just not. Like, I know.
I mean, dude's a punching bag.
Yeah, he's just bigger than everybody, but eventually it's going to wear you down. And, Earl Spence, like you said, that was my get. I didn't think it came from the car accident. That's what I was thinking. It was coming from sparring. And I agree with you on that. And, it's catching up with him. Look, you're sparring like this. Sparring can be more brutal than the fight sometimes. And you're taking this style into every training camp. Unfortunately, it seemed like it might have caught up with him, right? He's only 31, right?
31. Yeah. And it definitely caught up to him.
And Sugar Ray Leonard had the detached retina after the fight with Tommy Hearns. And like you said, it took him years to come back. And even back then, when he got the surgery back in the early 80s, it was a high risk proposition to come back and fight not just regular guys, you're fighting killers, man.
All
Right?
killers. And then he came back, if I'm not mistaken, he fought Marvin Hagler right away. First fight off the couch.
He might have. I think he did. But yeah, that's crazy.
You know, and you know, I know modern medicine now is different. So you might, you know, in technology, so he might heal, you know, faster, but that don't change nothing when you get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still susceptible to your shit, you know, getting fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
the history proves itself. You know, Antonio Margarito, after Manny did what he did to him, he was off for like quite some time. He didn't come right back. He took like a year and a half off because he had to heal up. His first fight back was Miguel Cotto. What happened? He closed that eye up. Almost once that shit started taking punishment, it was a wrap. Abner Mares don't fight no more. He done. Leonard, like you said, you know, and he's lucky to come out the way he came out.
He's an anomaly, I think.
All right, yeah, he's a freak.
Yeah, he's definitely the exception to the norm because, like you said, I mean, when we talking about Margarito, he had the detached retina, but he also had the broken orbital bone. So you're talking about not a compound injury, but your injuries are compounded. So I mean, even though it's a different injury, I mean, look at Kell Brook. Kell Brook,
yes,
had freak injuries on both eyes, and then you keep fighting against guys that are heavy hitters. It's just you're taking that risk, and he can get the surgery and he can recover in 3 to 4 months. And if he's just going about everyday life, he can live as if he never had it. But if you're going back into a contact sport, boxing, hockey, football, MMA, you're talking about high risk of re-injuring that to a worse extent. So lucky he found out this injury before the fight. I'll put it like that.
Definitely, because if he didn't, we would have been playing craps with my man Eyeball.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We would have literally be playing board games with my man's eye because Manny was going to land, and there were going to be times, I'm not saying, it was going to be the whole fight, but there will be times where Manny is going to land, particularly on Earl Spence, at will, because his hands are so fast. And Earl's not necessarily, he's not an evasive guy. Takes a half step back, nice little half step back, moves his head, picks the shots off. But when you got somebody like Manny cutting distance like that and putting those combinations together like that, that's a different dude, man. And then he hits hard. All the punches are hard. Like, it's not like the first or the second are hard, or, the third. He'll throw a 7-punch combination and they all have the same pop. What can you do with that?
Not a whole lot, to be honest with you. And look, not to take the spotlight off him, but Dennis Ugas is in a very unique spot. And unfortunately, look, people mention the injury, and I was like, what is this? So I clicked on the picture, and immediately that popped out to me. It made me think of who had torn tricep.
Caleb Smith shit got fucked up.
Who?
We fought Canelo in the fight.
Oh yeah. But I think that was bruising though. I don't think that was
bruising. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he was hitting the fuck out of his arms, right? So
on purpose, intentionally.
Yeah. So I remember when Jason Peters for the Eagles tore his tricep, and when you tear a tricep, it's like the tendon comes off the bone and it kind of makes a lump. So that's kind of what it looked like when Ugas was. It didn't look like it was like necessarily fully torn, but it looked like maybe a partial tear, like some of the bicep is like sitting up. It didn't look right to me. It didn't look like really bad, but it looked off. So I don't know if that's a strain or partial tear, grade 1. I don't know what it is, but it looked a little bit off.
He don't look 100%.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys aren't 100% going to a fight, but if it's something like a torn bicep partially, or a partially torn rotator cuff like Manny had going to the Mayweather fight, that's a big deal, right?
Yep.
And especially he's going against the guy. He's not just going against a tomato can. He's going against the senator from the Philippines, first ballot Hall of Famer. who's not
First
just a guy. Yeah, like he's not just a guy who's going off into the sunset. The guy's still a killer right now. So like he can't afford not to take this fight, even if he was injured. That's the conflict of interest that we're dealing with right now.
well, he's getting a bag. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
he's estimated to make, Manny's clearing 5. He was supposed to make 10. And then if you're looking at pay-per-view upside, I thought the pay-per-view was where Earl was going to at least do 750K to $1 million.
Yeah.
And I think those are reasonable. So I mean, yeah, like Ugas ain't got no choice. You looking at getting close to, I say 2 million, and then he's getting a cut of the pay-per-view too. Even if you're injured, you got to take that fight, man. And Uncle Al, he probably called Uncle Al and was like, Uncle Al, I don't know. I don't think I'm be able to go
You know
through
what
this.
Uncle Al said? He said, "No habla inglés. No
No
habla
habla
español.
inglés.
No habla español.
I don't know how to speak anything right now.
Mi,
You know what
mi
I mean?
español muy malo." That's what he said. Okay.
Straight like that.
He said, "I need you up in that ring. Come fight night, 11 p.m. sharp."
11 p.m. sharp.
Sharp.
Now, and 11 p.m. sharp, that's Eastern time. You know what I mean? Not 11 p.m. over here.
Nope. Nope.
9 o'clock tonight, nigga. You in that ring. You know what I mean?
Uncle
For
Al's
real.
tough. Uncle Al's tough, man.
Uncle Al don't play, man. When Uncle Al say, it goes, man.
Yeah. So, segue into my next point. To me, if Manny beat Earl Spence, Manny walks off into the sunset, goes and runs for president and hangs up his gloves, puts them in gold, dips them in gold and just puts them up on his wall. But now that he's fighting Ugas, even if Ugas is healthy, one, he's getting his belt back. Two, he's like, I didn't get to fight the best guy. It's almost like, is Vegeta really going to settle down and be a family man when he knew he couldn't fight the strongest fighter in the universe? Right? He's fighting Captain Ginyu, but he's not fighting Frieza. Like he's not, you know what I mean? Like it's no disrespect to Captain Ginyu. I'm just saying that's just for those of y'all that don't get the reference. It's over 9,000. Look, he gonna want to fight the best,
and I respect that. But he's still fighting top 10 welterweight. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to take light off Manny to put it on this goofy. But yeah. Floyd Mayweather fought Andre Berta. Nigga wasn't even, I don't even think that nigga was even top 10 at the time. If he was top 10, it don't even matter because he didn't have a belt. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the number one contender for any belt. We both know that. It was Keith Thurman for the one belt.
He was 3-3 in his last 6 fights, and they weren't against top level opponents either. I mean, that's neither here nor there, but like, I don't think that mattered as much to Floyd. I mean, it's about the bag. Not necessarily about unifying the belts, which he could have against Kell Brook, but that's another story for another time, right?
But Ugas is still better than Berto. You know what I mean? Like,
he would wash Berto. No, I don't mean to disrespect the boxers. Anybody gets in the ring is respectable to me, but like Berto was not. To me, he couldn't compete with Ugas right now, but where he was at then.
No,
Ugas I don't think he's really sharp.
Ugas right now where he was at then, and I think Ugas is a better opponent.
I thought he beat Sean Porter, and I love Sean Porter. I thought Sean Porter got the only decision of his career was against Ugas.
Was that one? And you know what I mean? I think I gave that shit to Ugas. That one scorecard was just out of pocket.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like what are you doing? And then the dial back on Spence and all this. I just feel that Earl Spence would have had a problem with my man Manny because he's used to, fighting guys that are relatively tall. Not tall, but tall enough. Manny's short. So shots that you were normally hitting guys with wouldn't necessarily work on him because he's so small. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the amateurs, he had a problem with Brian Castagna, who is very short.
Who also got robbed recently. Oh, I put a rant video up there. Oh, I went off. Check my Facebook page, man. It's like I think that might be the angriest I've been. I think I was I was even angrier over that than the robbery I thought that Triple G had in the first fight against Canelo. I thought Castagno, that's one of the worst robberies I've seen in years.
Yeah. That was that. I think that's probably right up there with uh
Manny and Jeff Horn, Manny and Bradley.
yes, right there. Bradley, yup. Paulie Malignaggi, Juan Diaz.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was a rock. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and I'm a Deontay Wilder head. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I rock with my boy, but
Till this day.
to this day, you know what I'm saying? But that was Fury got robbed.
Yeah.
Yes, Castaño got robbed. So that being said, I just think Earl would have had a tough night tonight. But we got Ugas, you know what I mean?
He's gonna have it tough because like we just mentioned, the scorecard against Sean Porter. And even one that I think Ugas won recently, the scorecard was just so skewed. So you're going against Manny Pacquiao, who is the obvious A side. You're going to have to win every round convincingly. And honestly, I don't condone illegal tactics, but the dome got to be strong tonight. That's all I gotta say.
Gotta be strong
It
tonight.
got to be strong.
Gotta be. You gotta have a chin on you. You know what I mean? And if you getting rocked by Abel Ramos, that don't bode well. When you going in there with Manny.
If you can catch Manny, that's his best shot. Get in close.
He got slow feet. His feet are slow.
He does.
I thought Sean Porter, that fight he lost, I feel like even though he won because he over there is trying to experiment with shit. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to be boxing and on his toes where he should have been, in his chest, taking it to Ugas because he had the speed advantage. You know what I'm saying? The feet, his footwork was better than Ugas. I think he made that fight harder than what it had to be.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But I think Ugas is going, if that arm ain't messed up, I think he's going to give a good fight.
I agree. Yeah,
he's going to give a good fight tonight.
He's not there by accident where he's at.
No. Well, they gave him the belt.
Yeah, but he also defended it well, and he got robbed against Sean Porter, who is top 3 in the welterweight division right now, in my opinion. So Manny, Bud Crawford, and then Manny, Bud Crawford, and then Earl Spence for the injury. Then it was, neck and neck, honestly, to me. Earl and Sean, outside of that one punch in the 12th round, I thought Sean Porter could have beat Earl Spence. I thought he was beating him. So
he was beating Earl Spence, yes. And I think even with the knockdown, Earl Spence arguably still might have lost.
Yeah. So if Ugas can compete at a high level against Sean Porter, and Sean Porter to me is Manny Pacquiao light at this point. The way he jumps in and out, closes range, is just he's more of a pit bull, but he has the speed and just the movement and the angles
like Manny got. Yeah,
but Manny's just
he smothered his work though. That's it.
Exactly. That's the only thing that he doesn't do well yet that Manny just does to perfection. He just is so crisp, but he gonna get there though. So if he has some success against Sean Porter, and a lot of success in my opinion, do I think he beats Manny? No, but I think he can make it a very a tough steak to chew.
Yes,
very tough steak.
It'll be a tough steak, but he ate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of which, where's AB at, man? What's he doing these days?
Yo, Uncle Al be giving niggas an allowance, man. Al Heyman be pulling up, be putting so allowance in niggas' pockets.
Can Al Heyman adopt me too?
Shit, adopt me. Take his vote. Shit, you giving niggas like allowance and shit. Earl getting an allowance right now because his eye fucked up.
Must be nice, man.
I mean, unless that nigga look at him with that look like you paying his back.
Well, yeah, we put it like that. Yeah, nothing's for free, right?
Nothing's for free, nigga. I'm gonna be for real. Earl gonna come back. Gonna come back, yo. Why? And yo, it's gonna be a matter of who gonna crack his shit. It ain't no doubt. He ain't beating. When he come back, he damaged, bro. The moment he get cracked one good time in that eye, he gonna start thinking. Keith Thurman is gonna beat him. Bud definitely beat him.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, hey, that's gonna be the question of the hour, man. Because like he's either gonna fight or he's gonna give up those titles. And like once the titles are going, nobody wanted to fight him anyways. He was too dangerous. And now without the titles, then they're going to try to move on to other people.
Yep.
And so he has a
And
business
Karma's
decision.
a bitch.
Karma in what sense?
All right. Let's really look at it. You know what I mean? Like in some ways, and listen, I wanted the fight tonight. I was very excited. I wanted Manny to come in here and whoop that ass. But the reason why I say karma, you know what I mean? Maybe it may not have been for Earl to have this fight. And I say that because let's really look at it. Terrence Bud Crawford. They X that man out. Him, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. With all due respect, I'm pretty sure Bob probably could have made something happen because how did Tyson Fury and Wilder happen? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
if you can make that fight, you know what I'm saying? He can work with Golden Boy. I'm sure the fight could have been made. But every time you hear Earl Spence talk, it was, this side of the street. And it sounded good at the beginning. It made sense. You know what I'm saying? But who is everybody chasing? You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to fight who? Manny Pacquiao.
No, Oscar De La Hoya. That's who everybody wants to fight.
Or his old ass. Nobody want to fight each other. You know what I'm saying?
He said he's fighting Manny Pacquiao next. Wasn't that this? Or was it Canelo? Oh yeah, it was Canelo. My bad.
Oscar?
Yeah, you ain't hear the word. What you talking about?
And getting murked.
Nah.
Oscar getting murked.
He taking all three of them. All three belts.
All three belts?
All three.
He gonna get fucked up. That man gonna have that man with his cheeks up in the air.
Hold on. So now, we gotta look at this now. You didn't see him on Hot Boxing with Tyson?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, so
but I didn't watch, like, you know what I mean? Like, I watched like clips. I didn't see, like, when Canelo got on there, I watched that whole shit.
I got to see that whole one, man. I want to see that.
When Khabib Nurmagomedov, I watched that one.
Yeah.
There's another joint. There's another one he did. Sugar Ray Leonard. That one was.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. When he had, was it him and Tommy Hearns and a couple other people?
That was a separate one. I think.
Yeah, but that was the second one or something like that, right?
Yeah, that was a separate one. Yeah, I think he had Hearns on there, but wait, was they on there together?
Yeah, I think in the second time Leonard came on, I think it was with Hearns as well.
Okay.
First time he was by himself, I think. That was a good one because they it's nice having when you see guys on there where it's like you have another killer in the room, like whether it's Leonard or Khabib or Canelo. It's like you see Mike really be Mike. He's not like, because he's like, okay, like, do I feel like I could beat them in a fight? Yeah, because I'm a big dude, but pound for pound, it's like, oh, these guys are just like me.
Yep, definitely, man. You know what I'm saying?
Like there's not like that palpable fear in the room that he could kick everybody's ass in the room, like, because he's seen them on TV. Hell, he grew up looking at Leonard. Hell, he's like been in retirement seeing Canelo go and fight the best of the best, right? He's seen these guys, so he's seen Khabib be an absolute monster in the cage.
It ain't like Mike Tyson and Lil Boosie. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Boosie knew what time it was.
He knew immediately. Yeah.
He couldn't say nothing. He couldn't say nope.
Nigga was shook, yo. He was shook.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'll be shook too, man.
Yo, because he put that man dick in the dirt. Everything changed.
Yep, your whole life changed, man. Like when freaking Cat Williams lost to the 13-year-old out in the schoolyard.
Yeah, and then looked up at the camera like, why? How?
Meme time. It
was Meme Central. Meme Central. You watching that? What's the name next week, though?
Which one is that?
Tyron Woodley, Logan Paul.
You know what? I think I might, man. That out of all the circus carnival fights, that one's the most intriguing to me.
Yo, I thought I was the only Nick, because I was talking to fucking Cuz. Jason, like, he was like, man, you a purist, man. You can't order that, man.
I have a special quote.
Damn, you right.
I owe everything to Bach.
Yeah. Oh, that was you know what? Let me go ahead and share a screen. You see me now?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead.
You know why? And what that everything is my life. Boxing saved me. Boxing saved me. I wish it can continue to save me. You know, because if I didn't have boxing, and as much as I fucking hate it, I love it because it saved my life. You know. And so being,
hate it, right?
yeah, and being, you know, being still involved, and it's like you're part of it, and it gives you those, you know, it's like me and Tyson are gonna, you know, be us forever. You know, it's like we're a handful, you know, like, but this is what made us, you know, this is what made us, and it's like you fucking love it and you hate it, you know. Yeah,
because obviously, and I gotta bring this up, man, because obviously, right now, you know, you and Canelo are beefing, and you're even, you know, you're even beefing with Dana White, and rightfully so. And
no. Look, I mean, look, this is what's happening, okay, and this might be my fighter juices flowing again, you know, and it's like, first of all, you inspired me, Mike, because you know, being, what are you, 56, Mike?
Yeah,
56, 55. You know, and looking as good as you did against Roy, who's a boxer, who's a master, right? And just for coming back and doing, you inspired me. So I said I want to do it too, you know. But in back of my head, my demons are telling me, no, you got to do it, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, I know how that works.
You know what I'm saying?
I know how your subconscious makes you
right,
Yeah,
right.
I know how that works.
And so the fact, I want to do 2 of these fights, you know. I want to do, hold on. I want to do 2 of these fights. And then guess what? I want to do a real fight, a 12-round fight with either Floyd or Canelo.
I never heard no shit like that.
What's your take, Mike? What's your take on that?
I want you to look in the camera and say that.
Look at Zabe and tell him.
I want to do, in my 3rd fight coming back, I'm either going to call out Floyd or Canelo.
Yeah, there we have it. That's what I'm talking about.
There we have it.
I mean, listen, man.
There we have
it. Here's what I think.
He said that to you.
He told me
the camera and told you.
All right, well, listen. You know what I mean? Canelo? No, don't do that to yourself. Because you'd ruin your fucking career. You'll be out here looking like William Joppy when he fought Felix Trinidad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't be pretty for you. You know what I mean? Now, Floyd.
That might be a good fight for him.
I like that. But Floyd ain't gonna do it. Because Floyd's a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? Like, a whole bitch.
I gotta put up the money. If he put up the money, he will show up.
Dog, you know how much money they would make if they fought?
And Oscar would actually win again. I prefaced that with again this time. I thought he beat him the first time.
You thought he beat him the first time?
Yeah. Come on, man. Do I need to bring up that interview with his dad? With Floyd's dad?
I would. Well, I know that interview, but
yeah,
I'm looking back. I'll be honest, man. I thought that shit should have been a damn draw.
He beat him by a round. It's either a draw or 1 round of Oscar.
I thought it was a draw. Like when I was young and dumb, I'm over there going dummy for Floyd. But as I got older, you know, I got wise. You know what I mean? I started to understand. Nah, like, you know what I mean? He's not the move. And
Floyd didn't look good against
Logan Paul.
So
yeah, I was just about to say, like, yo, and he really wasn't even looking like that when he fought Logan Paul.
No.
I think it's the hair. You need to take that shit off.
Do you think Floyd with hair is weaker than Floyd bald?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially this version of Floyd with hair. It ain't like how he had it when he beat up Arturo Gatti. He had the fade like me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not now.
He can get the fade again though. He should get the fade again.
No, it wouldn't look right because he's bald for real. You know what I'm saying?
He had kind of like a fade and it looked like pretty similar. He had a fade before he grew it out.
What you're talking about? What he got now?
Yeah, like when he first got the transplant, like it was obviously cut down because he got the hairs put in, and it just looked like the fade that he used to have when he was fighting in Playboy. He just had the beard along with it.
Look. This is how.
Well, that's a fade. I'm talking about like more like the Caesar, right?
He had a Caesar.
Yeah,
so all that Caesar is nut hairs trimmed down. You know what I mean? That is all that shit is.
They take
dog.
them off the back of your head, man. They just go front.
Listen, they did him up with some pubes, bro.
You're just not trying to hear this, are you?
I don't give a fuck because Floyd's a piece of shit and I fucking hate him. You know what I mean? And the reason why I hate him, it's always about boxing. You know what I mean? Like, and people say he didn't fight the people when he should have, but the reason why I don't like him is because if you look at his career, bro, yeah, he beat a lot of world champions, but when you look at the end after Manny, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he could have fought and kept fighting. He say his hands is brittle and all that, but I just don't respect the fact that he didn't give none of these young guys an opportunity to get in there with him, especially the brothers. I'm not gonna lie, man. None of the brothers got a chance to fight him. Who he get that chance to? Let's be real. The only young fighter he gave an opportunity to was a Mexican. And look at that guy. Look where Canelo at now off of that one fight he had with Floyd Mayweather. He took, regardless of what anybody want to say, he took Canelo and say, here, let me show you something. And put him on game in the ring. He didn't do that for none of these he didn't do that for Earl. Yeah, he sparred Earl, but you didn't fight Earl. You didn't do it for Keith. You didn't do it for Sean Porter. You didn't do it for Danny Garcia. You didn't do it for Bud. You didn't do it for any of these young guys. These young guys, who gave them the chance? Adrian Broner, Manny. Manny gave all these young dudes a chance, and he was giving them a chance before these fighters now, these crop. Tim Bradley. People forget he fought Tim Bradley 3 fucking times.
Nobody wanted to fight Tim Bradley at that time.
Nobody.
I mean, let's be real.
Let's be fucking real. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was out there trying to fight Tim Bradley. And look at Tim Bradley now. Look at where he at now. One of the best commentators in the sport of boxing. That's for me in terms of athletes that are, that were boxers and came over and did the commentating. You know what I mean? I think Andre Ward's the best. But, man, Manny really be putting balls on game. Yeah, you get punished. But, he really gives everybody a shot, an opportunity to get in there with greatness. And Floyd just didn't do that, bro. He was really all for himself. You know what I mean? He ain't for none of these young boxers coming up. All these people that get this guy credit, that's bullshit, man. I cannot respect him. I cannot. I respect him as the purest boxer ever to step in the ring. But outside of that, bro, I don't respect what he did in the ring at all. You know what I mean? I can't. I respect him for stepping in there because that's what you do. You know what I mean? I get it. That respect you just have to get because, you can die in there. But, dog, he's like the biggest sham in fucking boxing.
Yeah, I'm... Look, I have this conversation with people all the time. I've had arguments and heated debates with people. And look, he has all the talent in the world. He steps in the ring, exceptionally skilled, great foot movement, great, phenomenal defense. But, people always talk about the art of hit and don't get hit. Okay, yeah, he didn't get hit, but he also didn't stay in the pocket often either. He would stay in there at times, but he wasn't in there. Maybe it was the hands. Maybe it was a change of mentality from moving from his father to Roger as his trainer. Roger to his father. His father was way more defensive. Obviously, we've seen him as a fighter, and he was a pretty good fighter, but he was defensive. Whereas Roger, you've seen Roger as a fighter. Roger was all offense, and you just seen the change in his mentality and the way he fought with Roger when he was pretty boy versus his father when he got older. And then once he kind of got from under his father's wing, he just kind of went on his own and did his own thing. Yeah, Roger trained him, but from that point on, he was always going to be all defensive, and he wasn't unless the guy was a complete can, he wasn't going to really come forward and try to get him out or exchange with him, right? And look, there's certain fighters that he didn't fight for a reason. He always fought guys that were straight up and down, no special effects. The only person that he would have had a problem with that had no lateral movement or limited lateral movement, and I wouldn't even say he has limited lateral movement, was Triple G. Triple G can move side to side, but he doesn't always choose to. But he would have had a problem with him because you're not going to run away from him. But other guys like Victor Ortiz or Robert Guerrero or I mean, we can just go down the list. Oh, Miguel Cotto. When he fought Miguel Cotto, who was still suffering the lingering effects from the Margarito fight, Cotto gave Floyd problems in that fight. Big problems. Jab, and anybody with a good jab, if you've looked over his career, anybody with a good jab, he did not have fun in the ring with them. Did not.
Or unless you were just a slugger. Like, I mean, you took it and you was giving shots back like Maidana.
Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto,
another one.
Manny Pacquiao,
Marcos
Maidana, who actually threw a jab, even though it was not the best of jabs, he was just consistent with it, and then he came with awkward punches from weird angles. Just guys who have good jabs. Shane Mosley, for the first 2 rounds. I mean, if he wasn't so fucking jittery for the whole fight, he would have been fine. But like his jab, I mean, he saw the jab and was like, oh, what is this? And then guess what came behind it? That straight right that almost sent him into the shadow round.
Yeah, set that man into the shadow round.
He's not fighting guys that with a good jab who are like committed to it. He's fighting guys who are sluggers straight up and down, who don't really they swing for the fences all the time. They don't try to hit for singles. Yeah. And they don't have really good head movement.
No.
So, I mean, skill, but wasted skill, in my opinion. One of the most talented athletes that I've seen, but it's almost like, and I throw this analogy out all the time. Imagine if, Aaron Rodgers, right? He gets to the NFC Championship game. He's like, oh, no, I don't want to play the Buccaneers. I want to play the Denver Broncos, right? I want to play the worst team I possibly can, because it's going to give me the easiest shot of going to the Super Bowl next week. Like, no, you have to play who's in front of you. You have to play the best, dude. The other team got there for a reason. You can't just say, I'm going to play the Miami Dolphins this week and not play the Kansas City Chiefs. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's the issue. You're Aaron Rodgers. You're the best quarterback in the league, but nobody's going to give a fuck if you don't play the top competition.
No, and Floyd, he fought very select. It was top competition, but it wasn't, you fight them under specified conditions. Either they're past their prime and they're too old, or they have an injury. Like Zab Judah he had a whole bunch of shit going on at that time. We had that fight with Zab, and then with Manny Pacquiao, the first time you're supposed to fight, you thought the accusations that he's on performance enhancing drugs, but then the lawsuit comes out because it was heard through the grapevine that you failed 2 tests, possibly for blood doping or whatever you were taking at that point. And instead of actually doubling down and backing your claims, you settled outside of court for an undisclosed amount of money, allegedly in the 7 figures, to Manny Pacquiao's team. If you're not guilty, why would you send them money? It makes no sense. No sense.
No sense.
But if you listen to people that they put that narrative out, man. Everybody, that narrative out there, but people don't even talk about any of that you just said. Nobody talks about the lawsuit for the defamation of character that was, put against Floyd. Nobody talks about these things, because if it was true what they were saying about Manny, like, why would they sue you? Like, I just don't understand. Like, know what I mean?
Deshaun Watson right now has a whole bunch of allegations for sexual misconduct, right? With
at the massage parlor.
Massage parlors. But has he settled out of court yet? No. You think he's going to? Maybe not, because there's not a whole lot of evidence against him. There's a lot of accusations, but there's still teams that are willing to at least think about trading for him, because it looks like maybe he might get suspended from the league just because he's causing a circus, but there might not be any concrete evidence against him. So he's not going to send the money for what? That's just sending somebody money. Settling out of court is just as bad, if not worse, than pleading guilty in the court of law. Honestly, because it's like, okay, I know I fucked up, so here, take your severance pay and get out of here, right? So people are going to
let's not talk about this anymore, and then we'll fight. You know what I mean? Like, what's a fucking clown, man?
No, and on, at least on my podcast, I talk facts. It's not logic over. It's not emotion over facts, emotion over logic. No, we talk facts.
Straight facts.
You might not like what I say, but one thing you won't be able to say is that I'm a liar. You might, it is what it is. If you could say that I lied on this podcast, okay, tell me how. But if you can't, whatever, man. Like, can't take you seriously. And this is what it is. So, that's why his legacy is what it is. And that's why guys like Manny Pacquiao or Mike Tyson, De La Hoya, as much flack as we give De La Hoya has fought the best of the fucking best, right? You might think he's an absolute prick outside the ring, but you can't deny what he did with those gloves on.
Nope.
So, you look at Manny Pacquiao right now. I mean, it's not his fault that Earl Spence got an injury before the fight, but I mean, he's going to fight one of the top two guys at the division. Like, what are you talking about, right?
Yes. I mean, and that's what I'm like. That's what really gets me, like,
at 43. He's not. It's not even like he's like
old.
Yeah. And even his backup, his replacement, his replacement Ugas, he's fighting this nigga for the belt that was taken away from him 2 years ago. Like, he's still the significance of this fight is still not lost upon me.
No, and then your Dennis Ugas. Now that I sit here and think about it, you got to put your Dennis Ugas higher than Danny Garcia.
Absolutely, he's done more. He's done more. Yeah,
he's a top
at this
five.
Point. At this point,
yeah, he's a top 5 welterweight.
Not as a whole, but in the right here and now, Ugas is where it's at. So
it's a top 5 welterweight, hands down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think Danny's like number 6, 7, and then at that point, that's when we're getting into the Virgil Ortiz and Deron Boots Ennis of the world. Those two names, bro, I'm telling you now, man, they are not a joke. Them two, Earl don't want to fight with Earl don't want to fight Boots, hands down. I know he don't want no type of smoke with him because that kid, he's not a game, bro. He can fight both stances, orthodox, southpaw. You know who I'm talking about? Boy out of Philly?
I haven't seen him, no.
What? Man, listen. He's probably the best. For me right now,
we gotta look him up right now, man. How you spell his name?
Boots Ennis. Just put Boots Ennis. I think his name's Jerron.
I see it. Boots Ennis.
Dog, I ain't playing, bro. That motherfucker can fight. Like, he's not a joke, dog. Him, Virgil Ortiz is real good too.
Yeah, I heard of Virgil Ortiz.
But Boots Ennis, dog, he's one of the best, man. The niggas for real, they need to fight.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, he said, nah, we good. Nah, none of that. Ooh, okay. Okay. Oh, the body work serious.
Yo, the ball's he's defensively set. And then, dog, like I said, right there, he's fighting southpaw. You won't see times where he fights orthodox.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, this dude, man.
Yo, he threw a 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, man. It's not typical.
Yo, because Ball's sitting here trying to act like they don't know who he is. Oh, if I know who he is, I know good and damn well them niggas know who he is. Come on, man. Niggas out here ducking, man. Ooh. And niggas don't want they don't want to fight him for real. Like, I'm dead serious. Earl don't want no smoke with him. Like, I put a bag on this man to beat Earl Spence. I think he'll beat Earl. I think he'll beat Bud. I think he'll beat Porter. I think he'll beat Thurman. I think he beat all 4 of them niggas, dog. I'm just keeping it a buck.
Who's he fought so far?
Nobody want to fight him. He knocked that nigga Lipinets out.
Oh, he knocked him out?
Yeah. Hey, Brown, stop that man. Like, get that man up out of here.
All right, that's a name. That's a name.
I mean, that did him dirty. Like, wasn't like he's like, oh, nah. Made him look like he didn't even belong in there with him.
Yo, hold up, man. This uppercut was crazy.
And then dipped. Like, come on, bro. That's that guy. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm keeping a close eye. Okay. Keep an eye out for him, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he on my radar now.
Him and Virgil Ortiz, them two, I think, honestly, like I said, they just not proven. That's why they ain't up there at the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 spot. But once they give them boys an opportunity, because I think actually if Bud fights Sean, I hope that happens. The winner has to fight Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah, that's the name I've been hearing popping up with Bud Crawford recently.
Virgil Ortiz?
Yeah.
He 18-0, 18 knockouts, man. He just knocked out Mean Machine. Kavalauskas. And then he knocked out Maurice Hooker. He knocked out everybody.
Well, Hooker,
nobody
I'm biased against him.
I think Boots is better than him, though.
Who?
Virgil.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
I
better.
have to look up some more highlights on Virgil Ortiz. I haven't seen a whole lot of him.
Yeah, he better than Virgil.
Yeah.
The Eagles look like shit.
Hey, so with that game, it was our second and third stringers against their whole first squad, which I mean, it's neither here nor there. But one thing that was concerning, like our backups are crap. Our first stringers look good, but our backup, if there's injuries, we're in trouble.
Yeah, y'all first string, all right, but that backup boy,
that ain't it.
Anybody get injured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all done.
You got all that out?
I had to get all that out. I mean, yeah. It's Cowboys, man. And then I had to type in the password, the Eagles. So
yeah, I know.
That hurt me.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? You know how it's gonna be, man. We're gonna get to December and we're gonna see the same old frowning faces from you. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's how I go, man. Winter's coming, my boy. It's gonna be cold. It's cold. You're still paying Tony Romo.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really give a fuck about football. All I care about is
Yeah. Unmute yourself, man. Unmute yourself.